Have you ever wondered what makes a great story great? You know, from those ancient myths we all learned as kids to the latest blockbuster that has everyone talking? Well, turns out every single one of them has a hidden architecture, a secret blueprint. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it works.
I mean, really think about it for a second. How does a basic fairy tale, a story you could tell in 30 seconds, get turned into a 2-hour epic that has you completely glued to your seat? What is that magic ingredient? You can see that difference right here. On one side, you've got the simple version of Cinderella. You know, A happens, then B, then C. But on the other side, you get the movie. It's full of suspense. We get emotional flashbacks. We see things from different characters' points of view. That leap from the basic story to the final product, it's not magic. It's a craft. It's a set of really powerful tools. So let's break them down.
Okay, so first things first. We have to start with the absolute foundation of everything. It's what people who study this stuff call the story. And it's really simple. It's just what happened.
The story's basically just the raw material. The best way to think about it is like unedited security camera footage. It's just event after event laid out in the exact order they happened in time. No fancy editing, no jumping around, just the pure, simple chain of what went down from beginning to end.
And that raw footage, it always just boils down to these three things. You've got your characters, the who. You've got the events, the what. And you've got the setting, the where and when. That's it. That's the simple backbone of it all.
This timeline is a perfect example. Let's take the classic Bangladeshi tale of Bahula La Kandar. If we just look at the story, it's this perfectly straight line. Someone dies, there's a journey, there's some trials, some persuasion, and then a restoration. See? Simple, direct. But remember, this is just the raw material. This isn't the telling of the story yet.
All right, so we've got our raw ingredients. Now, let's talk about the recipe. We're moving on from what happened to how it's told. And this, my friends, is called the discourse.
Discourse is where the art comes in. It really is the art of storytelling. If the story is just a block of marble, the discourse is the sculptor's chisel. It's the storyteller taking that simple chronological timeline and deciding how to shape it, how to chop it up, rearrange it, and present it to create suspense or emotion or a deeper meaning.
And it really all boils down to this simple idea. Story is the what, discourse is the how, the facts versus the artistry. And honestly, understanding this one distinction is like having the master key to unlock pretty much any narrative.
So, how do they do it? Well, storytellers have 3 main tools in their toolbox. First, they mess with the order. Think about a movie like Pulp Fiction, where the timeline is all scrambled up. Second, they control the duration. They can stretch a single second into 5 minutes of epic slow motion, or they can compress an entire decade into a 2-minute montage. And third, they play with frequency, like in a mystery, where we see the same event told over and over, but from 3 different perspectives. Oh, and a fantastic example of this is the Bangladeshi film Matir Moina. In that movie, the director uses flashbacks not just as a cool trick, but to show us something really profound about how our memories work. How the past is never really in the past, right? It's always bleeding into our present. Now that is the power of discourse.
But wait, there's one more crucial piece to this puzzle. We've got the what, the story, we've got the how, the discourse, but now we need to talk about the who, as in who is actually telling us all of this. This is narration.
Narration is all about the camera lens we're seeing the story through. Is it one of the characters telling us their side of things with all their own biases and maybe things they don't know? Or is it some invisible, all-knowing storyteller who sees everything? This choice completely changes the entire experience.
Okay, I know this table looks a little academic, right? But trust me, it's actually super simple. It all boils down to 2 questions. First, who speaks? Is the narrator actually a character in the story, or are they some voice from outside the story? And the second question is, who sees? Are we locked inside a character's head, hearing all their thoughts and feelings? Or are we just watching from the outside, only able to see what happens, not what people are thinking? That's really all these fancy terms mean.
Let's go back to our Bahula example to see how this works. The traditional tale is told by an outside storyteller who kind of knows everything. But just imagine if, instead, we read Bahula's diary, a first-person account, from inside the story. The events would be the exact same, the same story, but the experience would be completely different, right? It would be filtered entirely through her personal hopes, her fears. That's the huge impact of narration. Okay, let's put it all together, because you now have this incredibly powerful new toolkit for taking apart any movie, any book, or any story you come across. And here's the big takeaway. No story is ever just a story. Under the hood of even the simplest fairy tale, there's this complex machine of choices the creator made, all of them designed to shape your experience.
Want to see this in action? Let's do a super quick exercise with Little Red Riding Hood. On the left, you've got the story. Chronological order. Girl meets wolf, wolf tricks her, etc., etc. But look at the right. This is the discourse. We start at the end. A woodsman bursts in. Suddenly, the question isn't what's going to happen next. It's wait, what just happened here?
And just like that, with one tiny change to the order of events, the whole feeling of the story shifts. You've turned a simple cautionary tale for kids into a gripping mystery. That, right there, is the incredible power of discourse.
So here it is, your new narrative toolkit, all boiled down to 3 simple questions. The next time you watch a movie or read a book, just ask yourself, what are the raw events here? The what? How are they being arranged and presented to me? The how? And whose voice am I hearing this from? The who?
Seriously, try it out tonight. When you're watching your favorite TV show, you'll start seeing it. You'll notice when they use a flashback or when they deliberately keep information from you. They're using discourse to manipulate time and keep you on the edge of your seat.
And finally, let's take this idea outside of fiction for a second. Think about the news you read or watch. Is a news report ever a pure, simple story? Or is the choice of where that story begins, what facts get emphasized, and whose perspective is featured, the discourse and the narration, is that actively shaping what you believe? It's definitely something worth thinking about.